Congratulations, prospective applicant. If you are watching this film, it means you've been approved by our Human Resources Department as an eligible candidate for the open position. You are well on your way to a career here at World Eater. The following briefing is highly confidential, and no information gleaned during this orientation session is to be repeated outside any World Eater facility. We have faith in your compliance, because you signed a waiver. We have that in ink. Don't do anything stupid. Alright then, enough of the bureaucracy. Let's begin. Subject 004, Sunblot. It's not a bird, it's not a plane, but it is faster than a speeding bullet. Such fantasies were once confined to the realm of fiction, but the arrival of codename Sunblot changed all of that forever. Our nation had barely time to catch her breath after the Genesis incident, and a flying kaiju made this a problem that only World Eater could solve. While we had not yet modified our domestic use mechs, specially designed anti-air cannons were exactly what America needed to take this terrifying beast out of the sky. Unfortunately, the body crashed down on a suburb in Michigan. More work for World Eater's newly released construction and repair mechs. We sold those things like hotcakes after that. Subject 005, Deep Blue. How do you hit a target you can't see? Not a month after Sunblot's attack, seismic readings from off the coast of Maine confirmed the existence of yet another kaiju. Trouble was, it was at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. The U.S. Navy tried in vain to intercept the beast, firing depth charges that detonated long before they ever reached their mark. It was at this point in America's history that we came to realize conventional methods of destruction simply wouldn't work. Now more than ever before, innovation was required to overcome an overwhelming new threat. The United States President enlisted the help of World Eater, imploring us to lend our ingenious technology in the name of the nation's safety. Yes, sir, Mr. President, our founder said. We'll help, but no one's lending anyone anything. Our services come at a price. Subject 006, A-Show Mach 1. Our first attempts at anti-kaiju technology were rudimentary. Working off the same basic model as our domestic use mechs, we elaborated on the more human aspects of their design. The first real combat mechs were, like the Earl Grey units, unpiloted. Instead, we programmed martial arts proficiency routines in hopes that this would be enough to outmaneuver potential adversaries. The main issue was power. No existing source of fuel was sufficient in providing enough power to the units without them overheating almost instantly. The larger we made them, the harder it was to power them. Fortunately, World Eater has invaluable business partners who are willing to lend us a hand in solving this problem. Subject 007, Yosemite. Even after the Sunblot event, many Americans were unconvinced that kaijus were a legitimate threat to the nation's security. Protesters lined the streets around World Eater's headquarters, demanding that we halt production of the packs and instead devote our time to studying the monsters, like those eggheads over at Farsight Labs. Well, their tone changed after the attack of a fourth kaiju on the eastern border of California. Codenamed Yosemite ravaged towns and tore massive chasms through the peaceful countryside, resulting in the loss of thousands of lives. That very same day, we were contracted by the U.S. military to produce a new line of packs. The war was on, and America was convinced they wouldn't win without our help. Subject 008, Terraformer Mach 1. The massive contract World Eater received from the US government yielded the first ever mass production of piloted anti-kaiju countermeasures. The Mach 1 terraformers were World Eater's first real entry into the anti-kaiju marketplace. We had competition, smaller companies working on alternative methods of solving the kaiju crisis, to no avail. When put to action, the terraformers proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the only real method of fighting back against colossal monsters was with equally enormous mechanized warriors piloted by humans. The early models required 2 pilots to operate effectively, which meant twice as much work for our recruitment team. Fewer candidates applied than we had anticipated. Subject 009, Nephilim. Competition is a healthy part of any business, but you can't sit idly by when a rival company starts slandering your good name. Farsight Laboratories is a small biomedical research company that was contracted by the US government to study the kaijus and uncover alternative solutions to the rising threat. They call us selfish and greedy, just because we have the business sense to charge money for our inventions. But if they are as altruistic as they say they are, why have they resorted to copying our business model by making their own pack? To their credit, the thing is immaculate. Replacing the human pilot with a chunk of sentient kaiju eliminates more than 80% of the user errors we've encountered in our own mechs. But the Eye of Genesis wasn't theirs to take. They're running a copycat company using stolen property, and we plan to get it back. This concludes Week 2's orientation. Remember, you are under contract not to repeat any of the information disclosed in these sessions. More to come. Stay tuned.
Alright, that's it from World Eater for today. I hope you guys are enjoying the new way I'm presenting the lore for this month's challenge. I know it's slightly different than I usually do. This time, I actually have an ending for the story already figured out, so it's a little bit easier for me to present this story to you guys in a cohesive way. Anyway, now it's time to move on to the promised Pokemon design. If you've been paying attention to the prompt list, you were already expecting a fire type. What you probably weren't expecting for that fire type was a Mega Evolution for XATU. XATU has always been one of those Pokemon that I feel like is just unfairly underappreciated. I know some people like it, and the people who do like it tend to really like it. I see you. You're already typing out your comment about how you actually really like XATU. I'm right there with you. I think a big part of why people don't like it is really, quite frankly, its competitive viability. Other than a hidden ability of Magic Bounce, which can be found on far more versatile Pokemon, there's really nothing about XATU that would compel someone to use it on their team. Unless they're running some kind of gimmick, or if they're like me and just make teams based off of the visuals of the Pokemon that they like. That's part of why I thought it would be a great candidate for Mega Evolution. Give it a bit of an edge in its stats or a stronger ability, something that would make people want to use it in battle. But you know me, things like competitive viability are always secondary to looks. Visually, XATU is awesome. It's one of those great Pokemon designs that doesn't get hung up on things like anatomy or biological accuracy. It feels more like a carved totem pole than a living animal, which of course is part of the visual inspiration for its design. The other part is derived from an ancient Maya and Aztec practice of sun gazing. This is where I derived a lot of my concept for the Mega Evolution. XATU, in most of its Pokédex entries, is described as possessing incredibly powerful precognitive abilities. It can see the future and the past, but it never acts on these visions. But what if it did? What if it decided, wow, something horrible is going to happen, maybe I should do something about it? And that's where I decided to take it. It's powerful, it's dangerous, and it's ready to change the future, or bring it into fruition. And that was the secondary concept behind this design. The promise that if left unchecked, the raw power of Mega XATU would bring about the very destruction it foresaw. Anyway, you can see it took me a while to get this the way I wanted it, and I'm not sure if I love it. But, like with the rest of this drawing challenge, it's important that at a certain point I can say, well, I gotta move on. I like it, but it could probably take a little bit more time to get exactly right. Mega XATU, the Mystic Pokemon. Normally, XATU will not act on their prophetic visions of the future. However, if a strong bond is developed between it and its trainer, XATU will feel a burning compulsion to change their destiny. XATU will channel the sun's energy and unleash powerful rays of heat and psychic energy from the eye-shaped patterns on their chest and plumage. If this outburst cannot be eventually contained, XATU will prove to bring about the destruction it once foresaw. That's Mega XATU, making up the design for Day 10's prompt, Fire. Full disclosure, this concept was not actually my idea. In fact, the other main reason I made this was as a bit of a thank you to one of the head developers of the Maza region game. This one's for you, my friend. And of course, I want to showcase some of my favorite KAIJUNE illustrations that you guys did this past week. Always awesome to see the work that you guys do, and I can't wait to see more. Keep it up. And to everyone else watching, thanks for sticking it through to the end. I hope you enjoyed this week's video and are excited for more. Don't forget to like and subscribe, you know the drill. And I'll see you all in the next video.